Hello, good afternoon. Welcome to Double9radio.
Hi, good afternoon. How are you doing, Double9?
I'm very well, thank you very much. I'm super excited. I can't just say I'm very well. I think I'm so super excited. I can't even contain myself. Like I'm talking to the legendary. But I'm not going to say who you are first because I'm sure our listeners are wondering why is this guy so excited this afternoon? Why is he so excited? Who is he talking to? But I don't know. So tell us, what do we have on the show today?
Hi, okay. My name is DJ Abass. I'm a DJ, media consultant, a broadcaster, resident in the UK.
Wow, ladies and gentlemen, I have here the legendary, the one and only, the innovator, the ones that sees the future even before anyone does. It's the one and only DJ Abass on Double9radio on the Fashion and Entertainment Lifestyle Show. Today, welcome, sir, to the show. It's amazing to have you on the show.
It's a pleasure to be on the show. How are you doing?
Again, I'm super excited. That's all I can say. You know, I'm glad you're here, and I'm sure you took time out from your busy schedule. We do appreciate that, and also for the support as well. But let's get right into it. Let's who's DJ Abass for people who don't know? I'm sure there's very few of them, but for our listeners all around the world, who's DJ Abass?
Okay, DJ Abass is, as the name title suggests, is a DJ. I'm known as Abass Tijani, aka DJ Abass. Based in the UK now for the last almost 30 years, and I've been practicing here as a DJ, a broadcaster, community leader within the typical Nigerian African community in the UK, and also I'm an events and entertainment consultant.
Wow.
And I enjoy what I've been doing for quite a while now.
Yeah, you said 30 years. That's a very long time. And and it's quite amazing that, you kept at it. And what's so amazing about it, you're very innovative in what you do. You never just, because you have DJs who just stay as DJs and don't do anything else. But as you mentioned now, you're DJ, you're broadcaster, you're consultant, and you do events as well. That's quite amazing. And I hope people get inspired by that, the new generation, by who I want to follow in your steps. But I mean, with all that, what motivates you? What keeps you going?
Well, that's quite a broad question to answer, but on a personal level, what motivates me basically is the quest for knowledge, the constant and endless quest for knowledge, and to improve myself. Coming into the UK almost 30 years ago, there was a time when the Nigerian and African community in the diaspora in general was still trying to find its feet. So it was a time, if you look at where we are today and where we are then, it's quite a huge distance in terms of achievement. So coming in then, the whole plan was just to excel and do well. In fact, the plan was just to perhaps come into the UK, spend a couple of years, and return to Nigeria or any other part of Africa we all came from. But as we started them, and I kind of like fell into the line of entertainment as a DJ. And then being a DJ, other opportunities started opening up. And as they opened up, one felt the need to excel. So what motivated primarily was just to come to the UK and pretty much achieve a position in life which perhaps many of us struggle to attain in our different countries of origin. And that was the essential motivation for me as a person.
Wow.
And that has remained up to this day.
I mean, that's amazing. I mean, you mentioned that the quest for knowledge as well, the quest to better yourself, to engage and learn more and be a better person. I mean, I think that's very inspiring because I think most of that is lacking nowadays because a lot of people just want the fast, quick buck type thing. Not immersing themselves in a career or immersing themselves in something they have a passion about. It's all about trying to copy something or trying to follow the crowd in a way. So I mean, when you mentioned a quest for knowledge, it kind of resonates with me, and I think that's quite amazing. Okay, you also mentioned in the early years, when you came in, it was African diasporas, most people here who want to come in, just see what's the UK saying, what can we achieve here, and maybe just go back. But how was it like? How did you find your feet? In the industry in the early years of your career?
in the very early years, coming into the UK, one good thing was I was already practicing as a journalist in Nigeria. I
Okay.
worked for the Guardian newspaper in Nigeria. And I was 23 when I left Nigeria. It was a time when a lot of us who left Nigeria at the time was just the quest to see the world. You
Mm.
know, you just finished, you had a British passport, a few of your friends were traveling, seeing the world, and you thought, you know what, okay, let's try the UK, see what's happening. So coming to the UK, what you realize very, very immediately is those advantages that were open to homeborn or UK residents
Mm.
born in the UK were not very, very readily available to um, diasporans just coming in.
Yeah, you're quite right.
Now,
Yes.
that's a person that hits you. And obviously, what now happens is, okay, what do I have to do? What do I have to do to bring myself up to par?
Mm.
Some went on the route of, further education. Some went down the route of, sticking to a vocation. For me, it was my vocation. I just thought, okay, DJ was something I enjoyed immensely. There were very, very few Nigerians or Africans in the UK who were DJs at the time.
Yeah.
And there was a ready market, for professional DJ. So I just kind of like fell into that almost immediately. Started doing gigs, primarily within the Nigerian and African community, and the audiences were there. And there were very few nightclubs for specifically for Africans in the UK. But we all socialized and had our parties.
Yeah.
And really, that's how it started for me as a DJ living in the UK.
Fantastic.
And that blew up so quickly,
Yeah.
So in a short period, I just felt wow.
I know. It was amazing. I mean, the first time I heard of you, I was like, wow, DJ Abass, and I'm here talking to you live. This is why I'm so excited. But I mean, what was your, the first gig you did? Do you remember where it was?
Oh God, it was a friend's gig. I was working. My very, very first job was working in a retail company in central London.
Okay.
And I had a few friends then who I started kind of like playing at their gigs. My very first gig was actually a mutual friend's party, and he said, "Oh, you know what? Can I get him pass?" I said, "No, I've got my gear. I can come down with my gear."
Wow.
And I did that first gig, and ever since then, every week in, week out, the gigs started to the point when I thought I had to leave my job. I left my regular job. That was how good it was in addition. And like I said, we had almost like a first mover advantage at the time. There were quite just a handful of full-time DJs, and I just found myself in a space that was not occupied back in the day. And we're talking 92, 93 upwards, and that was my first gig, so to say.
Amazing. And I think we can credit the first Afrobeat mixtapes or mix CD to you, because I think you're the forefront or the front runner to do that, wasn't it?
Oh, that was now I'll fast forward a few years now. In the year 2000, by the year 2000 now, I was pretty much quite established within the community now as a DJ.
Yeah.
And at the time, most DJs had complimentary cards.
Mm.
My card was a mixtape. I would make mixtapes, and if anybody said, "Do you have a number?" I'd give them mixtape. And in the year 2000, I made what can now pass, I believe, arguably the first.
No argument. I would stand and argue anyway, because that is just an innovation there. Because everyone was just thinking one track mind, and you just came up with, right, you're a DJ. What is the DJ?
And that helped me tremendously, because at the time, it was just at the time when not many DJs in the year 2000, I can tell you clearly, very, very handful of African DJs in the UK played African music.
Mm.
It was typically R&B, hip hop, dancehall, calypso.
Yeah, you're right.
Very, very few African DJs who play African music. So as early as 99, 2000, most of the song segments I would have for what we now know as Afrobeats today, we had all the classics. It was always a combination of some African hits like Premier Gal, which was released in 1999.
Yeah.
And alongside the very handful like Plantation Boys had an album out by the time. Remedies had an album out by the time. And if you hear that mix I put together in 2000 called How Downtown Lagos, it was an 18 tracker that had Remedies, that had Onyeka Owenu, Mike Okri, and a few. It was 18 songs in total. But that was in the year 2000, and I always say I don't know anybody in the world till today who actually, because it was a mix I recorded then, and the good thing was I put it out. And I think in 2003 I came down to Nigeria on holiday.
Yeah.
And somebody in Alaba
Wow.
had mass
Can you imagine? Can you imagine that?
somebody in Alaba had mass produced it, and it was circulating all over Lagos.
Wow.
And it was titled Downtown Lagos.
Can you imagine?
And the rest is history, as they say.
Wow, wow. I mean, I think that you should probably relaunch that 18 track, as the go-to track, the innovated, innovation, that made DJs think. Give your CDs,
It's everywhere. 20 years later now, the genre is a global genre that's being pushed across the world. We have artists who are being recognized in every corner of the planet.
Yeah.
So it's good to, in a way, be a part of that journey from that far back.
Oh yeah, you're quite right. I mean, you mentioned just a bit about what the music was like back about 1999, 2000, which was predominantly a lot of reggae, and dancehall, and all.
Stuff in the UK.
Yeah, in the UK then. But now we have Afrobeat as one of the number one in most cases, in most clubs, where you go, if you're not playing Afrobeat in a club,
Yes.
it's like the club is not, moving, or it's not nice. But do you think Afrobeat is here to stay?
Without a doubt. If you know, that term Afrobeats, that is Afrobeat with an S. That term Afrobeats originated in the UK. That term originated in the UK between sometime in the late millennium, 2007, 2008, and it was a term that emerged to basically qualify African pop music of African extraction.
Right.
That was the reason why that term came out. Now, obviously, the only reason why that term popped out was because there was this genre that was being emerging and being played in certain places, but it didn't have an umbrella name. So most of those songs were coming from Africa. So it was either hip life from Ghana, Niger pop from Nigeria, Kwaito from South Africa, bongo music from Tanzania. They were all coming into the UK, predominantly from West Africa, though.
Yes.
But there was no classification for it, So the term Afrobeat emerged in the UK to classify all those songs under one umbrella.
Right. Okay.
And because of what it was clear now that we now had an audience, especially the young audience, a lot of DJs were playing it, many DJs were beginning to play it, and the younger audience were kind of like very attached to it. And it was actually that number that pushed it beyond the Nigerian and African market. I would say the UK played a major role
Yes.
in popularizing what we now call Afrobeats with an S today.
With an S.
In the UK. Yeah, they pushed it from the UK into the rest of the world. So the UK takes a lot of UK diaspora and take a lot of credit for that.
Fantastic. I mean, I do hope there's more good music coming out. I mean, the artists such as Wizkid, Davido, and the likes, T.Y. Savage, they're still doing great music, and we still hope for more. I mean, David. Sorry, Karen.
I'll tell you a joke. A few years ago, because what has happened is every 2, 3, 4 years, a movement, some kind of like new genre pops up, but they disappear.
Yeah.
There was a time when we had jungle music.
Yes, I remember that. Yes.
This is UK sound, and it disappeared. And then at some point we had garage.
Yes.
And then it disappeared. And then we had funky house.
Yes, funky house. Yes.
And I remember when Afrobeat started popping out, and I remember a particular DJ on the top Afro black station in the UK at the time, who now kind of like said, all you Africans getting excited, this is just gonna be like any other genre. And then I remember I had almost like a public spat with him on Twitter. I said, look, Mr. Man, every year, I will remind you of your comments.
I know.
Every year I remind you, I said, look, the difference between Afrobeats and a lot of all those genres he described as dead genres is Afrobeats is coming from the motherland, from the source country. At that time, very few UK artists were producing Afrobeats. All the Afrobeats we were listening to was coming from West Africa,
yes. Nigeria, yes.
Ghana. And so unless it dies there, it can never die in the UK.
True.
Now, fast forward now to this point right now, we have UK born, UK based Afrobeats acts. You know,
Yeah.
guys like the band Don Jazzy actually left the UK to
Yes. Yeah. They did. They did. They did.
and started, and today now we have so many artists, or guys like JJC 419, those were actually the UK residents, and they went back to Nigeria, So today now we have Afrobeat acts who are actually resident in the UK, in the US, and other parts of the world, and how do you kill a movement? How does a movement like that?
It's almost impossible because it's not artificial. It's just straight from the source.
Exactly. It's very organic as well. So, and it's become part of the culture, the music, and that has gone in, evolved into other things beyond even the music right now. Now you talk the music, you talk the food. All the jollof wars you hear about.
I know. Nigeria is the best one anyway. Just saying.
Exactly. Exactly. But it helps to broaden that narrative.
Yeah.
So it's beyond the music. From the music, we're talking the food. From the food, we're talking the fashion. From the fashion, we're going into the dance. And then from there, we move into Nollywood. It's now it's a whole new cultural movement.
It is. It's amazing.
And it's a global force.
Exciting times ahead. Hopefully, exciting times ahead.
Absolutely.
Fantastic.
Absolutely.
Okay, so let's move. Should I say back forward because we started from 1999. All right, let's go to 2002. You in 2002 you moved into artist management.
Yes.
Which is another innovative idea of yours as well. You spotted a gap in the market and thought, okay, I can do this. But what prompted that move? What gave you that, idea to go into artist management?
That was actually by default. I remember sometime in late 2001, a friend of mine, he's a DJ as well, Jimmy the bald-headed guy, just invited me.
Yes, I do know. Yeah.
Because what happened most of the time is a lot of the African restaurants, Nigerian restaurants at the time, would probably have a day or two on their calendar where they hosted artists. So I remember there was this restaurant somewhere in northwest London called Hideout, and they used to host an indigenous Nigerian band. So my friend invited me over to come, and I got there, and that was the day I met a band called Solek Crew.
Right.
It was called Solek, and it comprised Adi Soji and Michael Orebi and Mike Enibeli, who you all know as Don Jazzy.
Oh, yeah.
These three people formed the band Solek, and I went there about 3 or 4 times, and after my 4th visit, I remember them calling me and I said, hey, DJ Abass, we'd like you to handle us, manage us, I had never managed a band, but I had an idea what I had to do, they just wanted exposure, and they wanted to be able, because at the time, but they wanted exposure and they wanted more eyeballs.
Right.
So remember, at this stage, I was not just a DJ, I was an event promoter as well. So what I did, first thing I did was now kicked off a regular Thursday night with them, which became one of the longest running Thursday night outs for any band in the diaspora. We used to start performing, and then in 2003, I now started running a program on TV, and I remember bringing them on board, putting them in the studio ident that was produced. Then they came on TV, and they became a regular feature on UK TV also at the time, and that just kind of like blew the name up. Though Don Jazzy left in 2003, and he went to join JJC, where he met the band.
Right.
But then that was my first stint with
artist management.
Managing artist management. You know what? That was my only stint with management.
Wow.
In real sense. But what I've done thereafter was also now support a lot of artists.
Yeah.
Beyond management, they're just supporting them. They needed to be plugged. They needed to be introduced to Nigeria. They needed to want to know that I'll be there for them. But Solek, I did manage and actually gave them the name Solek Crew.
Amazing.
To the name they had at the time.
I never knew that history. I never knew the history behind that. But I mean, that's amazing to find out, to know that that's one of it. Because they were quite successful back then. Because they actually did played in clubs as well.
And Solek the brand still does that till today. If you go on his page on Instagram, Wonderboy Solek, that same formula. Solek was the first band, and I stand by this, to start performing a mix of indigenous Nigerian music and R&B and pop. That was their typical sound. So you'd hear juju, you'd hear a touch of Fuji in there, and you hear R&B, it was a mix of everything. They were the first to start it.
Wow.
The very first.
Wow. I mean, it's still... Sorry, carry on.
Yeah, they were the first to start it, and I hear, I see how they influence some indigenous acts that now do the same thing today. But Solex started that. It was a UK product that ended up being sold in Nigeria, and then it grew out to the rest of the world.
Amazing. And you're a part of that as well.
Oh, pleasure, thankfully.
You're so modest about it, but I think you've done great things in the Nigerian entertainment industry that cannot be even quantified. And the amount of support you give people is it's amazing. And I do,
Thank you so much.
and I do, really respect you for that.
Thank you so much.
There's another artist you took to Nigeria in 2006. This is moving forward quickly, and
Yes, that was I'll tell you a little story about that. At some point, my company, alongside my good friend Ayo Shunaya, because Ayo was actually the one who created the program Intro with DJ Abass.
Yeah,
And then
okay.
Then we co-produced it. And at the time, one of our clients was Virgin Nigeria, the defunct Virgin Nigeria.
Okay.
So I remember in 2006, we came to Nigeria for the Headies, what is now called the Headies. It was the Hip Hop Awards back in the day.
Right.
Today it's called the Headies, and we were invited to come down. And I remember we now extended tickets to a handful of people. JJC came with us on that flight, and I told Cass to come along as well. The artist known as Cass.
Cass. Yeah. Okay. We had him on the show. Yes.
And I told him, you know what? Come with us. And it was just meant to be a trip where he'd come with us. We'll spend a week or two, and we'll come back to London. And we came to Nigeria, and he refused to come back with us.
Blimey.
Yeah, because at the time, Don Jazzy and the band were now in Nigeria. They had blown up, and they were coming out. So he came to Nigeria, and the irony was, it was Cass that introduced Don Jazzy to JJC.
Wow.
In 2008.
Wow.
Because Cass would come to my events in London. He was a DJ as well. He would come to my events, and it was at the Solek event where he met Don Jazzy, and they struck up a relationship, and then went together to JJC and JJC, and then Don Jazzy became an in-house producer for JJC, and that was where he met the band. So you see the degree of separation.
I see.
That's where he met the band, and then they came down to Nigeria late 2004. And then 2 years later, I was coming to Nigeria for the Headies and brought Cass along, and then he hooked up with them. And I always tell him that Cass still owe me a return flight ticket.
Do you know what I mean? Yeah.
And it was in Nigeria 2006, and 4 years later, I produced one of the biggest songs in the history of the genre.
Yeah,
Femile.
yeah. Female.
Huge song.
It is. I mean, you still play today. You still have people moving around and shaking.
Oh, yeah, indeed. Yes.
I mean, we did have him on the show a couple of weeks ago, and he talked about coming back into the entertainment industry and releasing another single, but somewhat in a different manner, maybe more of like maybe more of a different approach to the music industry as well. Okay, you mentioned just a tiny bit about Intro Live with DJ Abass.
Yes.
That show was a fantastic show. It was amazing, but
Intro with DJ Abass was more than a TV show. Because I remember in 2000, and you need to picture this, in 2003, there was no African television in the UK.
Yeah.
And we were very limited to platforms in which we could reach our people. So there were quite a few magazines here and there, and some of us had newsletters we were pushing out for events, but it was still pretty much very limited. But in 2003, I remember my good friend Ayo Shunaya calling me and said, "Oh, Abass, where are you?" I was in Central London. I said, "Come to this address." I got there, and it was a broadcasting center in Central London.
Yeah. And
I went there and says, "Look, we have our own station." He was invited then by the CEO of Ben Television to come and produce content, for Ben.
Yeah.
And we're the first content providers on Ben. At the time, he just said, "Look,
another first again. Sorry, another first."
Oh yes, and he said, you guys, we need to do a program." And I thought he was just gonna tell me, "Okay, you know what?" He says, "There's this term Intro we've always been playing with." We had a mutual friend at the time who said, "Intro." Says, "Abass, you know that intro we've always joked about? We're gonna turn it into a program." I said, "Great."
Okay.
So we're gonna do this together. Great. And I said, "Oh, who's the presenter?" I said, "I found one." I said, "Who?" He said, "You." I said, "Me?" I'd never done TV in my life.
Wow.
He said, "Okay, you know what? Don't worry, I'll be directing it. You just." So I came in with with zero knowledge for TV broadcasting. Of course, I had the experience, but I had a following,
Yeah.
So it was easy to reach out to people. I still remember the very, very first edition we had. Luckily, we had Charlie Boy in town.
Oh.
So we invited him to the studio and we had a recorded version, and that was the first edition of Intro. And the plan was very clear. The plan was just to put out content celebrating the very best of Nigerian and African music on television. This was the first. So if you look at today now, there are over like 12, 14 channels in the UK.
In the UK, yeah.
Dedicated to Africa Net. Then there was just one. So imagine there was just this one station where you could watch African movies, where you could watch African music, That was the strength and the power we had. Every Wednesday, 8 p.m. to 10 p.m., everybody was rushing home to watch Intro with DJ
Intro with DJ Abass, yes.
So good enough, we connected with everybody in Nigeria. We knew them. We had relationships with people like Choke Diasimi of Music Africa in Nigeria.
Yeah.
So we were getting a lot of videos. We had relationship with Nigezie. We got videos from them, talking about DJ T, who was the video director back in the day. So we're getting, in fact, some videos we played in the UK first before they were ever played in Nigeria.
Amazing.
We're getting a lot of videos, and very quickly everybody realized that if you're going to the UK,
you have to come on Intro.
You need to come on Intro. You got to speak with this guy. So we're getting a lot of videos. Trust me. And then remember, there were UK people who never before then, they did not have the opportunity to see anything like them on UK.
Yeah, no platform.
We were on Sky. We're not just on any. We were on Sky, which is the DSTV of Africa. So we were on Sky. Everybody was watching us, and that I think was what catapulted my career into a whole new level.
Amazing.
So I was no longer just a Nigerian DJ. I was now an African DJ.
International African DJ, man, international DJ, all the way.
That was a magical period, because now I would go out and walk into any event. And I would walk into anywhere there were Africans and like, hey, that's DJ Abass. And what we did cleverly at the time, though we were Nigerian, we represented for all. So I remember coming up with the idea that, look, you know what? Every Independence Day for every African nation celebrate.
Amazing.
So how did we do that? So if it was Ghanaian Independence on March 6th, I would invite all the top Ghanaian promoters in the UK who were having events. I would invite them on the show. What did that guarantee? It guaranteed that for that 2 hours, every Ghanaian in the UK
will be locked in. Yes.
And we did that for Ghana, we did that for South Africa, we did it for Zambia, we did it for Zimbabwe. So doing that again made my face kind of like recognizable in all those communities. So it wasn't just a Nigerian thing now, it was an African thing.
It was an African thing.
It was such a huge, and I was on TV then between 2003 and 2009. And I think that singularly kind of like just put me on a whole different scale.
You did.
As a DJ and a media personality, and I'm ever so grateful for that.
Amazing. I think the story's so amazing because it started from you not actually having an experience on production, but you went in with your confidence, with your innovative yourself as well. With your confident self, and you think, yes, I can do it, and you made it work. And I think that's
and the hunger,
and the hunger
to succeed, the hunger to excel. And for me personally, it was important that I had a brand that Nigerians back home could resonate with. It was important that I built a brand that people back home would know there's this Nigerian in the UK who is doing good things, who is putting the word out, who is representing for us. And that's how I started building my connect with Nigeria again. And that was how I knew every major player in the entertainment industry in Nigeria, be it films, be it music, be it fashion, everybody. That was very, very important for me.
Amazing.
It was just important, that I became somebody that could be reckoned with in Nigeria. That has always been the driving force. Just to do something successful that my kindred back home can associate with.
That's amazing.
And that has been that's been the drive to today.
That's amazing. I'm taking notes of this. I'm learning because you learn from the from the leaders, so you can improve. But that's amazing. That's amazing. I mean, on that note, we're just gonna go for a short break and be back on the other side. You want to stay locked on, stay locked in. We got the amazing DJ Abass on Double9radio today. You don't want to miss it. Stay locked in, stay locked on. Do tell a friend to tell a friend. It's your host Double9 on Double9radio. It's Double9radio. It's 1954, 12/08/2020. Welcome back. We've been talking to our amazing guest, DJ Abass, who's been giving us some great insight into the music industry, the Afro beats, and also about his amazing career as an innovator and a leader in all he does. DJ Abass, welcome back.
Hi, thanks for having me.
No, the pleasure is all mine. Again, I'm still excited. You know, I'm buzzing here in the studio thinking, oh my word, I'm talking to DJ Abass. I'm talking to the legendary, the one and only DJ Abass.
You're too kind.
Thank you. Okay, I mean, now let's talk about, you know, one of your other innovative ideas, or part of, you know, something great thing you're part of, I should say, which is the Nigerian DJs Association. Firstly, I think it's a very good thing that, you know, that exists. But for individuals who are listening and don't know what that is, can you tell us what is the Nigerian DJs Association about?
Okay, at the turn of the millennium, at about 1999, a couple of us came together and thought, you know what, it'd be nice for Nigerian DJs in the UK to have an umbrella organization. And what we decided to do at the time, we all sat down, just a core of us came together and thought, okay, let's find ourselves, about 30 of us, together from the association, and we had a series of these concerts, and I think 2 years down the road, it dissolved, because everybody had a different agenda. And most DJs at the time thought that, look, this is association, let's create this association, let's just start doing shows and start making money. But what many didn't understand at the time, that it was not just about doing shows, it was about having a group where all of us would come together and feed off our collective influence in more ways than other than just doing shows. So that came and kind of like almost like it was dissolved. And then in 2010, it came back again. And this time it all included other DJs, you know, alongside myself, who came together and thought, okay, you know what, let's do this thing again. And we came together and formed the association, and it's remained together ever since then. And with this dispensation now, the vision was a lot clearer.
Okay.
As a collective, we need to be together. It's not about just doing shows, but it's about being able to harness our strength. Because DJs are gatekeepers. They are gatekeepers of any industry.
Yes.
And now we had a body of DJs who would meet up from time to time. They could first share the music, so there was a broader spread of the genre. Back in the day, when we got a song, like in 2000, I remember when Olume gave me Yahoo in 2007. I was on my birthday in Nigeria. I was visiting, and he gave me Yahoo, and I brought that back to the UK. And I remember I had to share it with a few DJs. And back in the day, when a song was a hit in Nigeria, it would take 6 months before it traveled to the UK. And it would take 2 years before it got to America. That was how fast, you know. Social media improved that. But even before social media, we had the Nigerian DJs Association, you know, through relationships amongst themselves, we could help spread the music. So any hit song we share with the DJs, and they would play it at parties, you know, and put it on mixtapes. And that helped to accelerate the spread of the genre.
Okay.
And the Nigerian DJs UK played a major role in that. And in the last 10 years, so to say, Nigerian DJs UK also, we always invite to the Nigerian corner at the Notting Hill Carnival.
Okay.
And the Nigerian DJs UK had been the permanent DJ outfit that provided music at the Nigerian corner at the Notting Hill Carnival for the last 10 years.
Fantastic.
And that's part of the good that has come with the association.
Okay, great. So, I mean, the association, as you described it, is it more like just, you know, existing DJs? Do you kind of support up-and-coming DJs? Do you kind of like give direction to the younger generation who want to be a DJ?
It's the beauty of the association right now. The association is almost like 100 people strong today.
Okay.
And there are thousands of Nigerian DJs in the UK, but we have officially registered about 100 plus. and it's a mix of DJs across different generations. We have the older DJs, the younger DJs, we have men, we have women, and they're not just based in London, they're across the UK, Manchester, Birmingham,
Okay.
all the way to Scotland. So it's a body that encapsulates all types. And more importantly, during this lockdown, we've also used that opportunity as Nigerian DJs to be extremely active, especially on social media.
Mm-hmm.
We've been able to hold master classes. We've been able to
Oh, wow.
hold interviews. If
Okay.
you go on our Instagram page, Nigerian DJs UK, you will see a series of interviews that have been held with all types of entertainment personalities, from DJs to artists, to industry players like producers, promoters. And the lockdown period has more than any other time given us the opportunity to reach out, and more people now, and the Nigerian DJs UK are a go-to organization for certain kind of activities in the UK.
I mean, that's really good. I mean, so is there like a president? Is there like a body that governs the association, or it just who makes the decisions?
We are a body in ourselves.
Okay.
Because it's a specialist organization. Obviously, you need to be Nigerian to be a member. You need to be resident in the UK to be a member.
Okay.
And you also need to be a practicing DJ to be a member.
Okay.
So those are kind of like the rules and the guidelines.
Okay.
To be a member. So we are a body within ourselves as it is.
Okay, fantastic. I mean, anyone out there who's a DJ, Nigerian DJ, you have to be Nigerian, as you mentioned. You want to be part of an organization that would improve, or get you to the next stage of your entertainment career. Just check them out on Instagram. I think it's Nigerian DJs Association on Instagram, right?
Nigerian DJs UK.
Nigerian DJ UK on Instagram.
Nigerian DJs UK.
And I'm sure.
Facebook and on Twitter.
Fantastic. Okay, now DJ Media. I've been seeing this name everywhere. I've been seeing DJ Media on Instagram, on social media platforms, people talking about it. What is DJ Media?
Well, at a certain point in 2009, I actually stopped TV.
Okay.
Because then the event side of our business was getting extremely busy. So, like anything else, you just have to see what next. I was always asking myself, what next? Innovator.
Yeah, that's it.
And at that point, now I've been on TV, and as a marketer, TV was extremely important in me. I had like an advantage over everybody else. I had a top program of television, and a lot of agencies and promoters would come to me to help them promote their events, But I realized at the time that the platform, I was the conduit with the program.
Yeah.
The program was on the station.
Uh-huh.
Now, this was the time when social media is not what it is today. You see, today now, I think I joined Facebook 12 years ago, 2008.
Okay.
And when it started, it wasn't what it is today.
No.
But I realized that in order for me to thrive as a marketing agency, I needed to set it up properly, and that was what gave birth to DJ Media. So when we set up DJ Media, what did we do? Basically, there are so many companies that had products and services that wanted to reach out to the African industry.
Okay.
And we wanted to be a hub, that go-to company. So if you're coming from now today, I look at the jobs we've done. We have many. You see the role I play in Nollywood now.
Yeah.
I started out with DJ Media. A lot of Nollywoodians producers wanted to produce bring their films to showcase in the UK.
Yeah.
And we became the go-to company for any such activity.
Fantastic.
You look at companies in Nigeria. Someone like Bolanle Austin Peters, who runs her organization, producing some of the biggest African plays in the world. And anytime they come to the UK, they come to us for marketing. We help them get the word out. Big organizations like the airlines, Virgin Nigeria, all the way down to drinks companies. Think of all the big drinks you have in Nigeria. We work with them. When time they want to reach out, they have a new product, they wanted to reach out to Nigerian audiences, they would come to us. They would still go to those TV stations, but they come to us still because they knew we had reach.
Yeah.
So that gap in the market, to have a platform that would reach out to Africans, is what gave birth to DJ Media. So what do you want to do? Want to market? We have a product, we have a service, want to reach people. come to DJ Media, and there's something for everybody.
I mean,
And
that was my next question. Like, can anyone come to DJ? Because you seem to be the big brands, but you cater for the small business as well.
There's something for everybody. You need to understand that we are still a diaspora community. We are a diaspora community. So, in order to be able to reach out to that community, you need a group that understands where all those people are.
Yes.
If you wanted to market a product and you come to the UK and you go to the BBC or you say you go to ITV, but first and foremost, you would not be most likely not be able to afford their fees. Secondly, while they have a mainstream platform, they would struggle to get to that core audience you want to target.
100%, yes.
And that was the gap we filled. So anybody coming to the UK right now, it could be, like I said, the big brands, all the money transfer companies. We work with so many of them who are targeting Nigerians. You need to work with people who understand the language.
Yes.
And a brand that the people recognize. So if you go to the average Nigerian in the UK right now, they've been to a few of our events, or they've seen a few of our marketing. We are quite a safe brand within the community, So for you to engage any community, you need to know who to go to.
100%.
So we build that trust over the years. So while we deal with the big brands, you also have all the smaller brands, who just have maybe just have one product, one small product, or you have a small company where you're just selling African fabric, I say, look, we don't have big budget though. We only have small budget. We have something for everybody.
Fantastic.
We have something for everyone. We'll tailor our campaign to suit your budget.
Fantastic.
And we realized we needed to be hands-on like that.
Yes.
In order to be able to reach everybody.
Yes. I mean, I think that's really good. I mean, that's really good as well. I mean, because DJ Media, as you rightly described, offers that target marketing. You have your return on investment right there, because you're targeting the actual consumers who would actually, patronize, the business that you're working with. I mean, which brings me to the next question about brand management. I mean, you talked about artist management in 2002.
Yeah.
So before we actually talk about the importance of why artists, it's important to manage or improve their brand, or they see themselves as a brand, what is brand management, in your words?
Well, if I always use myself as an example when I say a lot of these things, in the course of this conversation we've been hearing, I've talked about just this young Nigerian that arrived in the UK in 1991 and started out as a DJ and then started playing, and at some point I moved from DJing, added event management to it, because all the things I've done, I never kind of like moved from one and left it. No, I added to it. So while I was a DJ, I became also an events person in terms of organizing events. And then at some point, I added management to it. And then at some point, I added broadcasting to it. And then at some point, I added the media marketing side, DJ Media to it, and we're visible. Now, when you have a brand, for every time we added something new, it came with a new audience. Every single time we added anything, it came with a new audience. People who start to believe in your brand.
Yes.
People who subscribe to your brand. The only reason why they would. So when we run DJ Media, companies who deal in finance, money transfer companies come to us and say, look, we are new, we're trying to break the Nigerian market, We hear that you are the go-to company. And then they come to us. There's a reason why they came to us. First, they realize that we have traction in our community.
100%, yeah.
They realize that people trust and believe us. So while I want to take that business, part of my job as well is to make sure that this company are really who they say they are. I just don't want to come and scam people. So we have to do our own due diligence.
Fantastic.
And when you're building a brand, part of building a brand is also protecting it. Because ultimately, this brand is not just for me, it's putting food on the table for quite a few people as well.
Yeah.
So you need to, when people come for different things, we check them out, and when we're happy, we push it out. In fact, part of what we do when we work for some brands, we tell them, look, you're going to pay us for customer service as well.
Yeah.
Because once we start to put the word out, if, every now and then at times some companies set up, or maybe you have an app running, and maybe one day there's a breakdown on the app for some reason, maybe service for that day slowed down. The people don't call them; they call us.
Yeah, because you put it out there.
Exactly. So and once you start to have a community who start to believe in what you're doing and see you as the go-to person, then your brand has really arrived, and you have to learn to protect it.
Fantastic. Fantastic.
And that has taken years to build. Years to build, but trust me, it can all go wonky. Snap of the finger if you don't protect your brand properly.
Yeah. Okay, fantastic. So, I mean, I love the way you actually gave an example there to describe the importance of brand management.
Yes.
But as you see, I mean, you're in the entertainment industry. You got loads of experience, and you've probably come across loads of artists who don't understand the importance of having, managing and continuing improving their brand, because that's why you have some individuals who would come, into as quickly as they come into the entertainment industry, blow once, and just go and just sleep off. I mean, why is it important for an artist to manage and continually improve the brand? In your words, what do you think?
Well, you need to treat the brand like a product. Let's look at the longest. I have a Friday night event I host, which is like a Zoom party. It's one of our pandemic, one of the
inner caucus. The inner caucus.
Exactly. It was just something I just thought, what? Pandemic, nothing is happening. Let me throw a one-off event. Now I've done 10 editions, and we get between 200 and 300 people every Friday night.
Amazing.
So,
amazing.
And we are the only ones in the community that are getting those kind of numbers right now. And another thing opened up there. Sorry, remember what was the point again? Active brand management.
Yes.
With young artists, I always tell them that first we must realize that they're young as well, and it would be unfair for me to expect young artists, because a lot of them also, just like I went into broadcasting without any experience, a lot of artists get into entertainment by default, by error. And you realize that a vast percentage of artists are not really trained in the business of music. They're just recording art. They have those little talents, and they meet somebody that takes them into a studio. They record a song, boom, it becomes a hit, and a lot of them find out they don't know what else to do.
Yeah.
And that's for the ones who actually found fame. Now, a vast majority don't find fame, but for those who find fame, they realize first they're young, and what they don't realize that talent is 10% of this whole structure.
100%. You hit the word right on the nail.
Yeah, talent is 10%. You still have to first start to discover and understand yourself, and then start to understand, because you see a lot of artists. There's a series on YouTube called Unsung, 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 and it's a series cataloging the experiences of a lot of some of the great artists we know today, catalog the experience from the 70s and 80s. And one thing was common: they all made that mistake, because initially it was just about the fame. But then, fame without fortune leads to problems.
Yeah.
A lot of them, it was about the fame, and because they were zoning in on the fame only, they did not keep an eye on the business. They had managers that took advantage of them, that ripped them off, and maybe the fame would only last you 1 or 2 albums. By the time you discover this, and you have that big fight with your management, and you let them go, you realize that you have nothing to fall back on.
Nothing.
So,
yes.
A lot of artists come into this game with very, very little experience. But what they need to understand is you need to start to treat, if you're an artist today, you're listening to this and you want to go into entertainment, you need to start to treat it as a business from day one. And while you are dealing with the talent side of things in terms of the music, you need to start to school yourself immediately on the business side of things. What are the things that you should be doing? The good thing these days that's different from back in the days, now you have access to all kinds of material online where you can school yourself.
Yes.
On all the things you need to do. Do I need to have a manager? Because not everybody would have the budget of the Davido or the Whiskey. That's just a fact. Davido, Whiskey, the Burna Boy, or Tiwa Savage can afford to put a big team together. When you see them arrive at concerts, they're arriving with like 20, 25 people. Everybody has a role. There's somebody doing their social media for them. There's somebody handling their dress, their wardrobe. There's somebody. As a young up-and-coming artist, if you school yourself well, you learn to do a bit of everything.
Yes.
And then you can have 1 or 2 people trusted to be around you to help you with other things. That is the knowledge that young artists need to start to acquire from the get-go.
You must right.
On industries, and there are no entry requirements for music. If you want to be a doctor, you have to go to university and study for 7 years.
Yes.
If you have to be a lawyer, you have to do your law and go to law school. In entertainment, that entry requirement is a lot slacker. Trust me. You know, so that's at times where the problems come from. People just come in blank.
Yeah.
They come in blank. So
they have this expectation of, like, you know, once they blow, that's it. You know,
if they blow.
If they blow. Okay, let me use the word if they blow. Yes,
the fact remains that 99% will not blow.
Wow.
99% will not blow.
Wow.
But because, you see, and that's what I tell everybody, the entertainment ecosystem is so wide. Look at football. I'll give you a quick example. If you come to Europe today, if you look at managers who manage the top level clubs, like if you look into the Premiership club for most countries in Europe, you will realize that most managers are either Dutch, German, or Spaniard. Check it out.
Yeah.
Go and look at the Premiership club in most European countries, the top league. The managers are either Dutch, German, or Spaniard.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
I'll ask you, why do you think that? And I'll answer that. Because in those countries, their sporting system starts from when they're in school. Most footballers in Germany or Spain or Holland came to become footballers through academies. And when they join the academies, what the academies know from the get-go is only a little percentage of the people they have with them are going to end up playing in the top level. The vast majority, by the time they hit 17, 18, they realize that, look, you are not good enough to play at a high level. However, they treat those academies like universities. So while you're in the academy, they are also teaching you how to be a coach. They are teaching you how to be a masseur. They are teaching you how to be a physiotherapist for sports.
Yeah.
So if you don't make it as a footballer, you can be a coach.
You can be a coach. You can be something else.
Or you can be a radiotherapist. Something along the lines of sports. So that they are dealing with the entire ecosystem. They are not just dealing with the footballer only. So, which is why by the time they are 21, they already have their badges to coach. So if they don't succeed as a footballer, they end up being available to be coaches.
You know what I mean?
Hence, you look all through Europe, Spain, Dutch, Germans.
Yeah, fantastic.
So what they succeeded in it. So let me now relate that to music. A lot of people go into music and just want to be the star on stage. Who's going to be the producer? Who's going to be the arranger? You can be a great songwriter. In fact, songwriters make more money than a lot of artists.
Yes, they do.
So there are other fields of the ecosystem you can apply yourself to. Trust me.
Yeah.
Why you're spending so much time trying to be a singer, really, your real skill may actually be in producing. It's a different skill.
Yes.
Your real skill could be in writing. Your real skill could be in engineering. Your real skill could be in setting up stage. And these are all branches of entertainment. So a good, well-structured system would not only discover the musician, but the singers. It would discover who would be the musician who can play instruments. It could also discover the producers. So I tell everybody, not everybody will be that star on stage. But if you build the ecosystem properly, it would accommodate all the different fields. There is money to be made in all those fields as well.
100%.
If you are a singer, the longest you will probably spend as a star singer is the maximum 9 to 10 years. Go and look at it. Nobody remains on top for longer than that on average. Yeah. Maximum.
Because a new style is going to come. A new artist will spring up somehow.
Exactly. So what happens after that? This is why they need to be developed. It has to be the entire entertainment ecosystem. You know, there are some people we knew as artists 20 years ago. Let me know someone like Tony Okoroji. You know who Tony Okoroji is?
Yeah.
He's the head of COSOP, the Collection Society in Nigeria. Many forget. A generation of these artists, they never realized that he used to be a pop star himself in the 80s.
Yeah, that's actually true. It just clicked, bang, like you're actually right. Yeah.
he used to, and then at some point he moved, and then he went into, the organizing. He was the first to organize the Nigerian Music Awards. And now today we're talking about him as head of COSO. So if you look at his journey, he has pretty much touched on, if it's someone like Don Jazzy's dad.
Yeah.
Don Jazzy's dad was a musician.
Was he?
He was a producer. Yes. He was a performing artist, his dad.
Oh, wow.
And today he's still very much in the music business, but in a different capacity.
Yeah, yeah.
So I think it's important that artists look beyond just being that singing star on stage. Look at the opportunities you can also have in other fields revolving around entertainment. And that's what I enjoy about what I do. When you ask that what motivates me is the quest for excellence, the quest for knowledge. So at every point in my career, every 3, 4, 5 years, I keep evaluating myself and say, so what is new now? What do I need to be doing now?
Which brings us to the On the Record show, which is another innovative idea you came up with, which is amazing. Celebrating the black, stars out there, empowering people. But what? Sorry, carry on. I'm just excited to be talking to you. But carry on.
No. Ask a question I can answer altogether.
Yeah, I'm just gonna say that On the Record show. What it's about the black empowerment, isn't it? And also, I wanted to know why. Because you went ahead of when the Black Lives Matter movement. What inspired you to actually start that?
Well, just like I said, it was a combination of factors. I've always been thinking of coming back to TV. I felt that space still needed more hands, and it also coincided with the time when a new station in the UK started, FEL TV. And I remember having a conversation with the CEO, and he just said, look, he just called me and said, DJ Abass, it'd be nice to have you on the station. I don't know. I'm just calling you to let you know that, look, if you want to do anything, the station is available for you. In fact, treat it like it's yours.
Wow.
Anything you want to do, and then that idea started, in my hand, thinking, okay, you know what? They have the facility for live, and I've always wanted to do something. Intro with DJ Abass was just about music. But at that stage of my life, I just felt I wanted to do something that would, because now I have a finger in quite a few other things, and I'd like to do something that would celebrate beyond just music. So, which is what gave birth to For the Record with DJ Abass. And it's came on FEL TV. We have this live studio in Canary, beautiful live studio in Canary Wharf, and it was a very, very simple one to do, because now I have access. I know all the stars. All I need to do, if they're coming to town, say, look, you're coming to town, and I grab you for 30 minutes. Come on the show. And that's another advantage of when you feel kind of like build your network. So by the time we did 5, 6 episodes, anybody coming from Nigeria, they will let me know in advance. And we had a constant rota of artists, of guests. Guests in entertainment, guests in law, guests in medicine, guests in finance, or mostly Nigerians and Africans who are excelling in their different fields of endeavor. And it was just like an intro 2.0.
Yes. Upgraded.
Exactly. It was like intro 2.0, and we ran that up till the pandemic started. And it's just one of those things that, and in the almost 2 years that it was on before the pandemic kicked in, it kind of like made its own name. In fact, that was the easiest one for me to sell off a lot. And at this stage now we have social media. So we do it on TV. Within a couple of days, I create little cuts, I put it on social media, and it will have a different life. And it's been a wonderful story.
Amazing. Another innovative idea, which I think is really, really good, because I do watch it, and I'm like, okay, DJ Abass is coming something new as well. And, you keep going on that quest, re-evaluating yourself, bringing out the next innovation for people to get inspired. And
continuum.
Yes.
It's a continuum, yes.
And get it done. So the question will be, have you always wanted to be a DJ and broadcaster? Did you have anything in mind before you actually went into being a DJ or broadcaster?
Before I became a DJ, I was actually a journalist. I used to write for the I remember I used to work with The Guardian in Nigeria.
Oh yes, you did mention that, yes.
Yeah, but DJ is something I have always wanted to do. music has always been a part of me. And the beauty of it is DJing actually now set the path for all these other things I'm talking about. Now, being a DJ in the UK set the path because I was not a professional DJ in Nigeria. I only became a professional DJ in the UK. Now, if I never come to the UK, the chances are I may never have been able to fulfill that dream as a full-time DJ. Because I think if I was in Nigeria, there's a possibility that all kinds of pressures would not have made me look that way. I was already writing for The Guardian. I had a good job. And I may not have seen the reason to be a DJ in Nigeria, but coming to the diaspora, DJing actually became something I could lend myself to and earn a living from very, very early.
Fantastic.
And I thank goodness for the fact that I was able to do that on this end, and then that brought me back to media. Ultimately,
yes, like a complete cycle.
Yeah, it's exactly. So it's a cycle. I look at my cycles, and like I say, every 4 or 5 years, you look at the way the world works. Every 4 or 5 years, there is one brand new innovation that's going to come in. And if you are not on that train, trust me, you are gone.
Now,
the next innovation, believe it or not, this pandemic is actually an innovation.
It is. It makes you adapt. Forcibly adapt.
This pandemic, right now, I'm running a regular Friday night on Zoom.
Yeah.
If anybody had told me before the lockdown that one would have been able to run a nightclub on Zoom, I would have said, nah, go sit down. Today, I've done 10 editions, average 200 to 300 guests.
Amazing.
Every Friday night. And I don't even see that stopping anytime soon because this whole COVID thing is going to be with us for a little while. And until a lot of people are sure that, the vaccine is available and it's working, the vast majority would have to look for alternatives.
Yeah.
And the pandemic now, when all of this is over, trust me, a lot of people now will be having their events on Zoom.
Yeah.
This pandemic has taught us that we don't need to go to anybody's office to have a meeting now.
You're right. Because
I don't need to go to Nigeria to join a funeral. I can join them on Zoom. Not everybody will be able to travel.
Yeah.
So the pandemic, I'm treating as the source of it's going to bring, whilst many businesses are going down in the pandemic, some new businesses are emerging.
Yeah.
Because of the pandemic. And I'm trying, true to how I operate, I'm trying to adapt myself. Because when these things happen around, when we have global issues like this, the first sector that suffers is entertainment and hospitality. That's the first sector right now. A lot of DJs don't know when they're going to play their next gig. I'm already playing gigs every Friday night right now on Zoom.
Amazing.
And I tell all the DJs I know, I say start to adapt,
You have to adapt.
Carry your audience along.
You have to adapt.
Because if they don't see you, that new generation that would adapt to it, they're gonna snatch your audience.
100%.
So once you can adapt, and that's the beauty of technology. And this is why at times I feel sad for the motherland, back home, because do you know what young people would have been able to do?
I know.
If they had access to the internet and affordable internet, because a lot of activity has moved online.
Yes, you're quite right. Yes.
But I don't see limitations. I see opportunities.
Fantastic.
When things like this happen, I always say to myself, there are people who are thriving. What are they doing? What are they doing right now? So if you look at the pandemic right now, Amazon is making money.
Amazon shares almost tripled during the pandemic.
Zoom has increased its viewers by its users by 30.
Yeah.
There are businesses that are thriving right now. So you look down the line, what are they doing? How can I adapt myself to these things, And that's the question I always ask myself. Every 3, 4, 5 years, something new comes.
Yeah, you're quite right.
You need to be on that train. Especially in the sector we're in, entertainment, hospitality. And once you can change and adapt, your audience stay with you. If you don't, they move to somebody else.
You're quite right.
So I would say this pandemic, ultimately, people should see it as a new, fresh, it's like a global reset button, something fresh, start to apply yourself to it.
Yeah, just follow DJ Abass. He can show you the next innovations as
You're
well.
so kind.
As because he's always the forefront. He sees it before anyone sees it. So just follow DJ Abass on Instagram. I'm sure you can grab some ideas from him. I already follow him, so it's your choice if you don't want to do that. But fantastic. So let's look at the entertainment industry, which you rightly mentioned just a minute ago, before the pandemic. What challenges did you come across? Within the entertainment industry, be it music, be it Nollywood, be it artists. Within that entertainment industry ecosystem, as you described, what kind of challenges have you come across?
I would say I've been extremely lucky. I don't see challenges. There is nothing in life you want to go into that you wouldn't have to commit a part of that time. If you look at anything you do very well, you're running a radio station today, and I can tell you the first half of your story was you having to commit energy.
Yeah.
No income.
Yes.
If you don't have, and I always say, don't go into it for money. First, you have to enjoy it.
Of course.
When you enjoy it and you are consistent, consistency is the single most important factor. Once you are consistent, you build that audience. For me in entertainment, the challenges remain the same. You want to reach people. My event is very personality. That I'm lucky in the sense that I've been able to also attach my personality to my brand. So a lot of people, there are people who have been following, quote unquote, following DJ Abass for 30 years in this country. I knew some people as like the overwhelming majority of my fans are female, and some of them I've known from like when they were like 20 or 18, and today they are 48 or 50.
Amazing.
And they started with coming to my nightclubs, and then from that point, then they started coming to my events, and then they started watching me on TV. And then some of them in their own lives, maybe after them for a while, you will see them. Maybe then when they settle down, they marry, they have children, you don't see them for a while. But then once the children get to a certain stage, you start to see them again at your event.
Yeah.
Now, they're not just coming to the nightclub. So if they want to come to a glam up Nollywood red carpet event, that's available for, I can give them that. If they want to come and watch a sophisticated stage play, Central London, African play, I can give them that. If they want to come and watch a football game, because most of the Nigerian football matches you see in the UK, we market it for them, for the Super Eagles. So
amazing.
If they want to come and watch a football game, we can give that to them. So basically, we can give them any type of entertainment.
Yeah.
So, and some of them, like I said, within that 30-year period of their life that they've known me, they've been able, anything they want, they can get. So it's not a situation of, we don't do clubs again, No, we don't do clubs, we do stage. We don't do stage, we do film. We do everything.
Amazing.
We do corporate events, book launches, So there's an audience. The Nigerian audience in the UK is estimated at anything between 500,000 and 1 million.
Yeah. Fantastic.
So the numbers are there.
The numbers are there.
You need to be able to give them what they want.
Fantastic.
So, and once you make that available and you are visible enough to them, they will come. So I think that has reduced a lot of challenges I have, because not everybody in my sector is as fortunate as being able to apply their personality to it.
It's as a visionary, I should say, a visionary.
Yeah, I've been able to do that, and it has worked for me, to the point where now most of the people I know who are my age, who've been with me for 20, 25 years, now they call me and say, Abass, my son is an artist. Now I'm not only dealing with them.
There's so
my son is an artist, he's got this song, and he's saying that, DJ Abass, please help him, tell him to help me put the song out. So now we're even talking the next generation now. And if there's anything I'm always grateful for, is the fact that, I've been able to, entertainment for me is more than a business. It's now a way of life. It's a way of life.
Fantastic.
And I've been able to apply myself, regardless of the circumstance of the situation, I've been able to apply myself. And then when you have a following, I remember somebody came on my Zoom event last week. In between, she said, you people, about 200 people, they tell you to go to church. Everybody wondering where are they? They didn't know they were on DJ Abass Zoom. I said, look, everybody here, I know them. I know them, or they know somebody I know. It's like 2 degrees away maximum. And when you know people, they know you, it's a whole lot easier to engage. You get it? It's a whole lot easier to engage. So when you know them, take care of them, have a listening ear, build with them, and because ultimately they are the ones that will bring your businesses. So there are people who used to come to me just for DJing. Now they own law firms. Now they own companies producing all kinds of stuff. They still come to us to help them market.
Amazing. Because so the brand,
yeah,
you know,
and the ability to also be able to give them what they want. So,
yeah.
So that black pound, that African pound, will circulate more in our community before it goes out. You know, that's the problem blacks have in diaspora.
I mean, that's a very valid point. Sorry to interrupt you there. You know,
oh, yeah, that's fine, yeah.
Very, very valid point about, you know, that black pound, you know, circulating within our community, because you know we're advocating for a lot of change. But in your, you know, from your experience, what do you think is lacking within the entertainment industry to allow, you know, that kind of black pound also circulate around the entertainment industry before going out to another type of community?
A lot of the problem has got to do with our mindset and our mentality. Sadly, a lot of black people don't support each other like they should.
Thank you. 100%. 100%. I would agree.
A lot of black people, they see blacks thriving, and immediately what they see is a rival. And they forget that if you don't have a certain number of you in that community, everybody ultimately, if you don't feed off each other, everybody ultimately dies out.
Yeah.
You need to feed. Look at the Asians. They've been able to build that into a culture.
Yeah.
So I find it amazing and surprising that 85% of people who wear Afro hair products are blacks.
Amazing. Amazing, yes.
But 85% of those who sell it are Asian.
Yeah.
You know, in Glasgow, one of the most popular African restaurants is owned by an Indian.
Wow.
You would never see, and I'm thinking, I can't imagine an African opening an Indian restaurant.
No, I don't think that can ever happen.
An Indian to come in there, or an African open a Chinese restaurant and expect a Chinese to come in there. But you see, people outside of our community, they will own companies. You see, products like food, those are lifeline industries. You know, those are lifeline industries. When you say food, when you cannot feed yourselves as a community, and you wonder that things like that happen more within black environments.
Yeah.
And the reason for that is, first and foremost, we as the people don't support ourselves adequately enough.
Yeah.
We just see, it's a mentality that has to change. In fact, I walk the other way around. I always say, I would only go to any other community if I don't find somebody in my community who is doing that product and doing that service well, because that's important too. You need to do that service well. But we first need, and when some people say, oh, but that's discrimination, I say, no. The whole world has written on the back of black people. The whole entire world has written on the back of black people.
Yeah.
So if I'm saying right now that I just want to do for my own only, for now, I'm justified to say
there's no harm in doing that.
You know, I'm justified to say that. So, but if you set up a business right now, the mindset, how do you start to deal with some of our mindsets? If I set up a hair company or a company where I'm selling hair products, the first challenge I'm going to have is from those Asians who, because they have a network, can actually freeze me out.
Yeah, undercut you.
They can undercut you. The second problem is my people. So when you are a black business owner in the UK, your challenges are a whole lot more than anybody else. The first challenge is your people, who may not see, in what you do, So even today, right now, the biggest distributors, our wholesalers of our food are Asians.
I know.
They're not African. They're Asians, the wholesalers, and the retailers. So that is where we need to start to change. I know a lot of us, they have this drive for education. I think in this period going forward right now, it is the business people that we need to be looking more at business owners. Let's teach our children to be entrepreneurs. They need to be business owners.
Break the consumer mindset.
That mindset needs to change.
It needs to change. It needs to change.
It needs to change.
ASAP.
And once we have that collective, and you start to see your black business brother or sister not as a rival, but as somebody you need to support so that you build an ecosystem together.
Amazing.
It is that unity and that strength that you take forward. If you look at how Afrobeats have survived, because I'm going to say, look, Afrobeats survived because our people rallied around it.
Yeah.
They rallied, and you see, when it comes, Nigerians also and Africans can be. I remember when Jamie Oliver came, he did his own version of jollof rice. In fact, Nigerians around the whole world jumped on his neck immediately. This is not jollof rice, We have a way of protecting, which is good,
Yeah.
When people want to kind of misrepresent us, Nigerians, but let us now start to spend that pound. The black pound, the Jewish pound or the Asian pound circulates for 6 days before it leaves their community.
Amazing.
Do you know how long it circulates in the black community?
Like seconds or minutes or something.
5 hours.
5 hours.
It's
Wow.
5 hours. The Jews and the Asians are 6 days.
Amazing.
So we need to start to be mindful and watchful of where we spend our money. So that's why I'm happy. I look at the events industry in the UK.
Yeah.
People, let's just say weddings, vendors, caterers. Nigerians have been done quite well in that sector.
Yeah, they are.
So
Gradually.
the photographers, videographers, DJs, makeup artists, and the community provides for everybody.
Yeah, it does.
Within that network. That is awesome. In fact, to the point that a lot of the other Africans now rely on us to provide that for them. Before then, now it was the Caribbeans that used to do that. In the 90s, in the early 90s, I remember if you're in the UK and the cool black was Caribbean, go to patois, dreadlocks, reggae music.
Yeah, you're right.
Rice and peas.
Rice and peas.
Over 2020, all of that has changed.
It's not jollof rice, pounded yam, Afrobeats, everything.
Ankara, that has changed 180 degrees, totally all around.
Fantastic. I mean, hopefully the mindset does change, and we start keeping that pound within our community, and supporting each other. And because when we come together, we grow together, and we're successful together.
It's an important mindset to have.
Yes. So
it's a survival mindset.
it is, and we should definitely adopt that. So,
Indeed.
So tell us a fun fact about DJ Abass that no one knows.
Oh dear. Oh God, I'm very weird like that. I have quite a few. What is it about me that people do not know? Oh God. Nothing jumps in my head right now. But when I'm not since the pandemic, I've been able to survive it better than most people, because most of the time, funny enough, unlike most people don't know, I'm at home most of the time. 80% of my work is at home.
Wow.
So I've worked from home most of my life.
Wow.
Most of my life, and the pandemic kind of just fitting
Nicely.
Nicely for me. Trust me.
Yeah.
I do a lot of stuff, and the only time I go out is usually when I go for an event or when I go for meetings. But typically, I would be at home.
Okay.
So but you would want a fun fact. I travel a lot. One of my greatest passions in life is traveling.
Okay, fantastic.
I travel extensively. Been to most parts of the world.
Wow.
I enjoy that immensely. I go on holidays a lot. In fact, in the last 5 years, I go on more holidays now because it's so cheap to see Europe. It's so cheap to see Europe. For 500 quid, you can have you and your partner for 500 quid, 600 quid. You can have a short stay in any major European city.
That's amazing.
It's not expensive to achieve that. So I do a lot of that. And I've been able to go to so many cities of the world. I've DJed in many cities of the world professionally. I do look forward to a lot of my destinations.
Okay.
definition gigs.
Okay. So the other question would be, if you could speak to your younger self now, what would our conversation be like? What would you say to younger DJ Abass?
I would say in your journey of life,
Okay.
it starts when you're in your 20s.
Mm.
Find one thing you truly enjoy and like to do and commit your life to it.
Fantastic.
Anything, find anything. And when I say anything, I mean anything. Anything that you truly enjoy doing, that you really, really enjoy doing, and commit your life to it. And in committing your life, find out how to excel in it. Find out how to be the best in it. Be an innovator. And when I say anything, I really, really mean anything. Because when it's anything, you can develop it beyond where it is if you commit fully to it.
Yes, you're quite right.
And we look at the greatest success stories in the world. That's where it starts.
That's where it
I'm not
starts.
going to come and say what motivational speakers say, and because you hear people in music say, because let's say you want to be a musician, or a footballer. The hard fact is to be at the highest level in music or as a footballer, your chances are very, very, very slim. But if you commit yourself to the ecosystem, your chances are very high. So don't go in and say, I'm just going to be a footballer. No. Try and be. That's the essence of academies. I always say, look, any of these young boys, the advantage of being an academy is that they're not just teaching you to be a footballer only. They are teaching you to get into the sports ecosystem. So if it's either you're a footballer, but while they're teaching you before they're teaching you to be a coach, they're trying to discover you. Because part of the process is also trying to see who you are, where your strengths are.
Yeah,
and
you're
once
quite
they
right.
discover that, they push you in that direction. So in answering your question,
Yeah.
if you're young, find what you like, something you truly enjoy. Because it's important, it's something you enjoy. A lot of us went to school I did political science in school, A lot of us in life, 80% end up doing what they didn't go to study.
Yeah, you're quite right. You're quite right. So find something you love to do and stick to it.
And commit yourself.
And commit yourself to it. Okay, so I'm going to put you on the spot now.
Yeah.
I'm putting DJ Abass, the legendary DJ Abass, on the spot on this question. Tell me 5 of your all-time favorite Afrobeat artists.
I cannot do that.
Okay.
I cannot do that.
Oh, okay. Abass, DJ Abass is declining our question because he doesn't want to seem a bit partial to some of the artists.
No, I don't want to start getting messages by.
Okay. Let's put a year on it. Say in the year 2000.
Okay. So what do you want me to say in the year 2000?
So give us 5 of your favorite Afrobeat artists from, say, when it started becoming mainstream, Afrobeat mainstream all the way.
I cannot, anything that has favorites on it, I cannot mention.
Okay. Give us 5 Afrobeat artists that would be your playlist.
Well, that's a very simple one to answer. If I was to go back from 2000 to date, there are certain clear people, artists, who have consistently turned out stuff, especially in their window of influence. So from your Two Faces to your P Square to the band to Mohits, all the way up to your One Day Cole, all the way up to now talking to Davido, Whiskey, and most recently Burna Boy. These are guys who have a multiplicity of hits records,
Yeah.
So it's inevitable they would make your playlist. Tiwa Savage, Maven Crew, these are bands that they keep churning out hits after hits after hits. So as a DJ, yes, you would have them, or even Kiss Daniel, you have them, have such in your. So that's an easy one to answer. And every DJ would tell you exactly what I just told you right now.
Okay. The political answers, yes.
they will make your list. But then there are also some niche artists, who are not that big, but that I still appreciate it. Just like you have in any industry, you have guys like Dotman. I don't know if you know Dotman.
Yes, I do know Dotman. Yes.
So there's some artists that that unique artists I also like, have a listen to what they do. Not because they have millions of fans, but because they have fans, but they're just kind of niche and unique.
Yeah.
And they don't necessarily fit into that popular clique, but they make very good music as well.
You're quite right.
So I do have those niche artists as well.
Okay, fantastic. Yeah. Fantastic. I mean, there's this new artist we had on the show as well. Her name is Tosin. Amazing artist. She just recently launched an EP. Those kind of artists is, I think, something should probably even listen, because she's doing amazing things there, and she's self-financing as well, which is one of the, challenges within the entertainment industry.
Oh yes.
In Nigeria.
Which is perhaps the best way to actually start anyway. Especially if you know what you're doing, you have the vision and you teach yourself, because a lot of artists, you need to teach yourself. You need to teach yourself a lot of the things you need to know, build contacts. Self-financing is the easiest way. If anybody invests into, I would say entertainment, investment in artists has the biggest return. So somebody that is coming to invest £20,000 in you is not expecting to make double that. No. Is expecting to make at least 10 times that.
Wow.
That is the basic logic of record labels. A record label will come, and they can have an initial budget of, say, £100,000. And then they have 5 artists. And they put 10,000 on each one. So that's 10,000. It's an advance, so it's an advance, so
yeah.
And before you start to make money from us, we'll first recoup our £10,000.
Yeah.
See, but you see, they give you £10,000, but what they intend to make of you is 100. I always say advance fees are the worst loans.
Wow.
The worst loan in the world. Yes. The chances are, though, so when labels have 5 artists, they know 5 of them will not blow. Maybe 1 will blow. But that 1, they are going to recoup all their investments.
All their investments.
From that 1. And that's how the music business works. Now, what has changed? You notice that labels are dying out. As more and more, because what do labels do? Labels will come and say, you know what, we've seen you, take 100,000, we'll develop you. So they'll give you producer, they'll give you studio time, they'll buy you clothes, they'll take you to shows and plug you, and even pay you for those shows, even though they don't pay them. And they're making a note of all those expenses. Most artists don't see that.
Wow.
So when the album now blows, they are first taking back everything. Most artists see the spreadsheet. They see the spreadsheet on the day they have their first fight with their record label. When they say, actually, I've been doing this for 6 months, and then they'll say, okay, come for a meeting, and then they open the computer and show you the spreadsheet. And they remember when we went to Abuja and we spent 2 nights at that hotel.
Amazing. Amazing.
Remember you flew first class with us to that, everything. And then they will show you that already right now you are 500,000 deep. And if they don't make that back.
Yeah,
so that's when a lot of artists started moving away from 360 deals.
Fantastic.
So it's not like you want to sign a footballer.
Yeah.
So why do footballers who are already established, why do they cost more as opposed to a young footballer who you are going to nurture?
Because investments will definitely be repaid on that footballer through marketing and branding and things, If
you're an artist who's been doing your niche movement, you've been doing your thing, and you have had an appreciable level of success, they will negotiate with you differently than to somebody who is just showing up at the studio, did one song. They know you have a voice, but you have nothing.
Yeah, fantastic.
So you strike a better deal. I always say, so educate yourself, train yourself on certain things, build your media, social media, build your media. So when a label comes in, they are now coming to you at 0 level.
Yeah, you're quite right.
They've seen potential, you kind of like position yourself, then you can negotiate better.
Yeah. We have some questions that have come in from our listeners. Because of time, I think we're just going to quickly ask the questions. I'll just take a couple of the questions. This is Joyce from Dagenham. Joyce says, if you were in a position of power, what would you change regarding the Nigerian politics?
mindset of the people.
Mm.
Your politics will never change if there's no corresponding change with the mindset of the people. Remember, those politicians are also coming from the people.
Yes.
Pick the average 22 or 32-year-old aspiring Nigerian politician right now. That person, in his or her head, already has a vision of what they want to go and do there. And that mindset, that thought is conditioned by the prevailing mindset. So if you get rid of the ones there right now, the people you are bringing are actually thinking like those you are removing.
Wow.
So the first thing we need to invest in is the way our people see life in itself. There has to be a new mindset re-engineering. If you don't change that, it doesn't matter who you put in the house. It's got to be garbage in, garbage out.
Garbage out. So the mindset is what was going to be.
We need to start to address the mindset. That is the first thing. And how do we change that? We will still need a crop of those politicians who are visionaries. We will still need a crop, because politics is so important to be left to politicians. I don't know if you get that what I said.
Yeah.
We don't need professional politicians. We need professionals in politics.
Word.
There are people who just go into politics. They have no experience in life. The best politicians are people who are proving themselves in one aspect of life and then take that experience into politics. So it could be somebody who has worked in the health sector who decides to do politics. You know that when they go into politics, they have a vision for how the health sector was improved.
Exactly.
It can be somebody from the judiciary. It can be somebody in sports. Politicians, we need to start to select people who are proving business, who have excelled in one side of life.
Yeah.
That should be the minimum entry requirement. Not just anybody. I look at the Nigerian political space right now. The vast majority are just anybody.
Just anybody.
But we need people who have, and look at the developed part of the world. There is no professional politician. No. A lot of them are either from academia. Maybe they've been to Eton, they've been to Cambridge or Oxford. They are people who have excelled in one field of life.
Yeah.
And they now bring that experience into politics. So we need to start to change the quality and caliber of people in our politics.
Fantastic. Thank you for that, DJ Abass. That's amazing.
Pleasure.
Wow, the time has gone so fast. I could stay here and carry on talking to you. I can't believe that time is already. I am loving it. I think I'm going to find a way to bring you back on the show at some point. If you do have the time to come back on, I'll be very, very pleased to have you back on at some point.
It'd be a pleasure.
Amazing. Ladies and gentlemen, it's been a wonderful time with DJ Abass on the show.
Thank you so much.
The visionaire, the innovator, the ones that sees the future before anyone does. The leader.
Thank you so much.
The best DJ for me, hands down. But I know some people want to argue with me, but I stand with you and I argue with you. DJ Abass, for me, is the best DJ. So catch him on Friday on the Inner Caucus. If you're on the Inner Caucus, find him and check him out. You can follow him on Instagram at DJ Abass.
Exactly. Awesome. Thank you so much.
Any last word for our listeners before you go, DJ Abass?
Yes, so we're in the pandemic season. Stay safe. Don't go out if you don't need to go out. COVID is still very much out there, and I've lost a few friends and family in this period.
Wow, but so rest in peace.
People know, we might at times get the sense that it's all over, but it's still very, very much out there. So everybody, please stay safe, stay healthy.
Fantastic. Thank you very much, DJ Abass, and may their souls rest in peace. And
Amen.
As you heard, everyone keep safe. Have a wonderful week, and we shall speak to you soon.
Thank you so much.
Cheers.
Take care. Bye.
Bye.